This podcast is sponsored by Lucy and Yak, and I'm so excited to share their Indie Biz program with you. Running an independent business means making tough choices, and sustainable options aren't always the most affordable. That's why Lucy and Yak are offering 40% off their sustainably made workwear, including aprons, so you don't have to compromise. Sign up to Indie Biz, and not only will you get the discount, but you could also be featured across Lucy and Yak's channels, spotlighting your business. Plus, they've got exciting plans for 2025, including Indie Biz markets. Head to the Lucy and Yak website to apply and join the community. Have you ever spent hours creating the perfect Instagram post and got crickets? Same. Imagine this instead. A fashion brand sets up a What's Your Style personality quiz using Score app. Shoppers get personalised product recommendations and you get email sign-ups, warm leads and a few cheeky sales. You can even use Score app for product waitlists, competitions and so much more. It's the perfect lead generation tool for your fashion brand. So head to scoreapp.com/fashion and get an exclusive 50% off your first month with Score app, or use the code FASHION at the checkout. Welcome back to the Fashion Brand Clinic. Today's episode is a really special one because I'm joined by someone I've worked with very closely over the past few years, the amazing Amy Fuchsia, founder of Fuchsia Shaw. And if you've been following Amy's journey, you will know that she originally launched Fuchsia Shaw back in, I couldn't remember if it was 2017 or 2018, but you obviously took a step back to focus on some huge life milestones, including getting married and buying a house, and recently made a spectacular return with the relaunch. But what I love about Amy is her incredible creativity, her honesty about the ups and downs of business, and the way she's built such a loyal and growing community around her brand. And we're going to be talking about what it looks like to restart after some time away, how you balance like creativity with structure, and finding your feet again as a business owner with all of those behind the scenes sellout launches. So it's a proper full circle moment, as you were one of the very first guests to come on the podcast. It's episode 4 of series 1. I had to go back and have a look back in 2019, and a lot has changed since then. You actually drove to my house and we recorded it in my spare bedroom. So we've taken a step up. But for anyone new that maybe hasn't listened or doesn't follow you, can you give us a little intro as to who you are and what you do?
Yes. First, thank you for those lovely words.
Pleasure.
Fuchsia Shaw is a women's wear brand. It's kind of rooted in minimalism, and it's for women who love kind of fashion as an art form. And we care about craftsmanship, fabrics, and really considered colour palettes.
This is the first episode where we've got some questions from the listeners,
cool.
because it's been going a little while now. And when you closed the brand, you had so much going on personally. And, you know, we said you're getting married and buying a house. Like, looking back now, how do you feel about making that decision?
It still fills me with sadness, even thinking about it, because it was a really, really horrible time for me. But it was 100% the right thing to do. Like, you know, things are completely different now. I'm so happy with how things are. But at the time, it just felt like I had completely failed.
In what way?
Front facing, everything was going really well. Sales were great. The community has always been amazing. And the brand was doing really well. I was selling out of everything. But the problem was all in the back end. I just needed to wipe the slate clean and start again with factories, with kind of the distribution, the sourcing, everything behind the scenes was not going well. And for that reason, I just felt like I just completely failed in every way. This brand that I'd been building for years didn't work, you know, and it wasn't just the fact that, you know, that it didn't work, I needed to start again, but like emotionally that was just so horrible to think like you're not good enough, you've not done it, you've not managed to do what other people can do. And it took me a while to like heal from that wound, to then bring the brand back.
And comparing against other people as well. It's so, I always hear people go, oh, she started about the same time as me. Yeah. And there's just certain people online that you keep an eye on. And you're like, I don't know, you always hope that you're going to stay at a similar traction, and then if anything different happens, it's so hard not to fall into imposter syndrome. And
and seeing them, say, oh, in our first year we did this, and by 5 years we did that. You rarely hear about the people that are like, no, it was rubbish for the first 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, I was really sad and upset. And
exactly.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions is from Natalie at the Bryden Collection, and she has said, after Amy closed the business before, what prompted you opening it again, and how did you deal with the nerves of restarting?
For a time, I didn't know whether I would ever restart. I thought, I didn't know if I was going to get that feeling back of wanting to run the brand. But that feeling was so strong before, and I was so passionate about the brand, I couldn't see how it wouldn't come back. But I needed some time away from it. I needed to just relax and not have that stress anymore. And within a few months I was like itching to design something and relaunch the brand.
And were you nervous?
And a bit, yes. And it was kind of like, but I was also like, you've got no other option. This is something I want to do. The other option is not doing it, and that's worse. So
the lesser of two evils. I guess you're kind of worried at is it going to get the same reaction as before? Are people going to be, I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking about things other people have said to me about, are they going to trust me again, that I'm not just going to close it again? And, am I going to stick around this time? And you kind of think about all the things other people might be thinking. Like, you don't know that they're actually thinking any of this. It's just what you think they might be thinking is worse.
That was a big thing for me when I closed the brand, is that I felt like I was getting up on a plinth and saying, like, I have failed and I'm not good enough. But actually, when I realised in my brain, all I had to say was, oh, the brand's taking a break. Be back soon,
It's not that deep.
Yeah, it's not that deep. And also, you care about you, but other people, they've got their own lives, They're not thinking too far into it, I don't think. No. I think you can overthink what people are maybe thinking about you. I don't think they're thinking about you that much.
No, that is a great takeaway. And also, I would say when you said it was 2 years, I could not believe it had been 2 years. It was surely it's not. I felt it was 2 months or something. It's just time flies when it's not you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then from the outside, you're like, oh, yay, she's back. Yeah. And another question was from Alice at Apollo Swim, who has also taken a break from her brand and made a great comeback. She kind of submitted a similar question that was asking for pretty much a bit of a step-by-step guide on bringing it back after taking a break. So what was the first thing that you did in order to relaunch it?
I think I told the story of why I closed it, which I hadn't done before because I didn't want to be honest about why I'd closed it until it was coming back,
Yeah, what is it they say? Share from the scar and not the wound.
Right. Yes, it was definitely that. Yeah. I couldn't talk about it before. I started there, but I definitely think I could have done way more for the relaunch. I just felt like I needed to start and get on with it.
Yeah, without putting loads of pressure on it to be a big. I do remember you did a bit of a soft launch.
Yeah, it really wasn't quite a soft launch.
Yeah,
it was just, and it was a few pieces, and it was just let's get started again.
It's like anything, really, isn't it? Even going back to the gym or something. Even if I just drive to the gym and sit outside the gym,
have to go in. Yeah, exactly. That was really how I approached the relaunch for me. That worked.
I love it. And then beyond the brand, what's one thing personally that you feel really proud of since relaunching?
I would say, there's lots of things behind the scenes. I love my new manufacturer. Yeah. I love the designing process. It's been really, really fun. And I've been working with my sister, which is really, really nice. I've had help, and also I've started sewing again. And it is just completely different in a really good way. And also, I would say I am a lot older now. I am older and wiser. And I have taken everything and I'm just learning, and I feel like I'm much more critical and like to analyze everything as data, not like feelings.
Yes, I would say from working with you, I have noticed that as well.
Yeah.
You're much less emotionally attached to the brand.
Yes,
In a
exactly.
good way.
Yeah, completely in a good way.
And not taking everything personally.
Yeah, it makes the business better.
Yeah.
Being
and
like that.
it's like it is a business.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not an actual baby.
Yes, and that's how I was treating it before. It was literally a fun hobby that got out of hand money-wise. Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about your team then, you said you've got your sister helping you. And one thing that so many people noticed when I asked in my broadcast channel, like who wants to ask questions, is how many people said about how much content that you create. And obviously, if you were to be asked, what do you do for a living? You would say, I'm a content creator. Like, that is what I do. And it obviously comes so naturally to you because you were doing that even before you started the brand. But how do you stay so consistent with creating content without it feeling overwhelming? Because I know I just came off the back of a really tough time with content.
Really?
I don't know. I just started overthinking it. I got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you're in a 2,000 view jail.
Yeah.
And you just think, I don't know where to go with this. Like, what do people want? And without it getting overwhelming or overthinking it.
I would say to anyone who is like, you know, overwhelmed about content, you've got to just put it out there. And I've gone through stages where I've done a month of putting out something every day, a month of putting out things twice a day, like posting twice a day. And not only do you get into the habit of it, you also learn what works, and because you're putting out so much, you try different things, and a lot of it is going to flop, but you don't know until you try, and something is going to take off. You're just more likely to have something taken off if you've got like 100 pieces of content out there rather than 10. And also, it is really hard when you work really hard on a piece of content and then it does flop, but you've got to let it go and move on to the next piece.
Yeah.
But it gets me into a good habit of like constantly creating content and thinking about content all the time.
And do you have a system in the way that you create? So do you it's so easy to fall into a bit of a rabbit hole on the Reels tab, looking for inspiration in inverted commas for anyone that's listening, and then like half an hour later you realise you're just looking at cats and dogs and puppies in the park, and you think that's not helpful for the brand.
Yeah, exactly. I think I kind of like brainstorm ideas and answer certain questions that might be about the, like, say a new design. It's kind of answering all different things about it. Where would you wear it, and how, and styling. I love anything to do with styling, setting. Just like trying lots of different things, really.
Yeah, it is about experimentation, and even just through the law of averages, like you said, you're more likely for something to do well, and if you just keep pumping it out.
And you'll get better, and you're learning, and
and I think sometimes people think the more I put out, I'm going to run out of ideas. But that has literally never been the case for me. It's more like the more I talk, the more I have to talk about.
Yeah.
Because everything generates a conversation, and you're always following on from something rather than it kind of going dead. And then you've got to start the conversation from scratch again.
Yeah.
Each time. That is when you're going to run out of things to say, because you start doubting yourself and questioning yourself, and actually you just keep putting it out and you start getting replies, like you said, and questions start coming in, and then it gives you an idea for something else, and you're always going off the back of something, and you've built momentum, I guess. Momentum's huge when it comes to anything like habits or content or
exactly. I think also having that conversation with followers and being like, what do you want to see? They might tell you, might spark ideas.
Yeah. And one thing that we've spoke about recently is finding that sweet spot between like the cool girl brand and creating content around that, but also the friendly, relatable brand and creating content around that, because it's really hard to be cool and friendly.
Yes.
Which is really sad, but it's fact. So how do you feel like you're navigating that balance with your content?
I think I'm getting there. I mean, because I love a cool girl brand, but I also love a friendly brand. And I think the friendly, like, I want to create cool girl brand, but you're invited in. You're allowed to come into the club. Like, you are welcome here. Whereas I see a lot of cool girl brands where I'm like, am I welcome here? You know, I am maybe not cool enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just mixing it up, doing a bit of both.
And do you have a different approach from Instagram to TikTok? Is it like a bit more friendly on TikTok because it's more personable and that does well over there, or do you just post the same thing on both?
Currently, I'm posting similar. No, I do think it's a little bit more friendly on TikTok, actually.
Yeah.
But I'm still navigating TikTok as a brand. That's like, I haven't cracked it yet. I haven't got it quite right.
What do you think you will do with TikTok from here? Like, what's buzzing in your brain about it at the moment?
I think I need to create purpose content for TikTok. I don't think they always go well across. Sometimes they do, but I'm not quite sure what to create on TikTok. I think it's more kind of like behind the scenes of shoots and things like that, and just like real life conversations, real life thoughts. I find that quite hard though. I feel like fashion brands and other brand owners do that really well, that they have honest conversations on TikTok. And I feel that it's quite like
vulnerable.
Yeah, very vulnerable.
Yeah,
like people doing that.
I struggle with that as well. When you see people, and also I love consuming other people's vulnerable content.
Oh yeah, me too. Tell me everything.
I just don't want it for myself. Like, I'll watch you be vulnerable, but you can't watch me be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I have kind of got this little shield up, like a bit of a mask. And actually, when I have let it down on TikTok, it's always done well. And you just you just need to do it again. But finding the bits that you are happy to be vulnerable about without it damaging your brand.
Yeah. You don't want to air everything. Dirty laundry.
Just for the sake of a few more sales.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And do you think having some help has allowed you to be more free up your time with content? You mentioned you've got your sister helping you. You've also got somebody else who kind of reached out from your audience to help you with content. Has that allowed you to be in your zone of genius?
Yes. Oh my God, it's so great. So my sister helps with like dispatching orders, which is amazing. There was once upon a time that I packed all orders, and we even had a conversation at the time. I remember you saying that there's something when you are split like that between doing orders and doing the rest of it, you almost don't want to get another order because you're like, no, because I'm going to need to pack that order.
Pack it.
Yeah. And so I was going to get a fulfillment center when I relaunched, but it fell into place. My sister's doing it, and it's been amazing. She also helps with the website. And then I got Kyla, who reached out to me, and she is incredible as well.
Shout out to Kyla.
Shout out to Kyla. She's amazing. And it's just amazing that I get to focus more on other parts of the business.
Yeah, how has it changed what your day looks like?
No packing orders, not having to sort out little things about the website and customer service and all that kind of thing. And then Kyla works on email marketing, and she's great with content. So if there's ever a day where I'm like, oh, could you put this together, this kind of reel or whatever, she can do it, and I fully trust her.
Yeah. Do you spend days with her where she'll come out and just film you, or?
Yeah, we have done that. Yeah. And she's really good. Yeah.
She just gets it.
Yeah, she gets it. Some bit content is not for everyone, but and taking content. And I have worked with people before, and I'm like, oh, this is not going well.
Yeah, I'm not going to be posting any of this.
But yeah, she's amazing. She's really good at taking content.
Oh,
yeah.
She was sent from the angels in the DMs.
She's a real creative, which is nice.
Yeah, and it's so important that you are able to focus on what you're good at rather than forcing yourself. Because when you're doing all the things that you're not so good at, it makes you feel really bad about yourself.
Yeah.
And then that feeling leaks into all other areas of the business that you actually are good at. But you've almost got like a hangover from doing the things that you're not.
Yeah.
And then you start second guessing yourself on creating content, let's say, when you know that you are good at it, but you've just got this horrible feeling inside of you that you're rubbish at the numbers or whatever, and you're like, oh
yeah,
no.
exactly.
And you get in
Puts
your
a
own head.
dampener. Yeah.
I guess on that note, you are probably one of the most creative people that I work with and that I know. And I know that you would just sit down and design all day long if you could. And obviously you studied design as well, didn't you, originally? How has it been balancing that more creative side of the business versus the more structured side of running a business again? Because obviously you've got the help, but at the end of the day, everything is still landing on your shoulders and you're directing what Tamsin and Kyla do. So how's it been balancing that?
Well, I know now from having to close the brand before that you do not get the fun side without the sorting out the not fun side.
Yes.
That is the rules. There are no other options.
Yeah.
And also, I am getting into it. I'm like enjoying it. I feel like when the brand is doing well, like it's nice all over.
And are you able to prioritize that creative side now with the designing? Like, in one of our recent calls, you were saying, like, I've designed some really wacky things. I was like, okay, have you done your homework?
Yes. And I know to rein myself in now. I do have fun. And also I have had a day where I worked with a fashion designer who looked over all the designs. Yeah. And it was great for her just have another designer to be like, no.
That's
like,
not
to
commercial.
that one. Like, don't make that, Amy. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I've really enjoyed like pushing the boat out there, but maybe reining it in. You know, it's experimenting and making really, really, really good designs, but also knowing when to like stop and, you know,
start selling them.
It needs to be actually something that people want.
I know that you're quite good at testing the market or like testing your own audience with new designs. And you might put, for example, you had some flowers for your birthday.
Yeah.
And you showed the flowers wearing a dress that is not for sale. Just to gauge the reaction on something. Do you find that it's quite accurate with the audience reaction versus what sells, or is it quite random that sometimes people are like, I love it, and then you make it and it doesn't translate? Or is it like, if people say they love it, it's probably going to sell?
No, it's definitely always when people love it, it's going to sell.
Yeah.
And I can really gauge people's reactions online. I will always wear something secretly before putting it into production.
Yeah.
Or I will put it out. Recently, I did a TikTok on my business page and I just had it up for like 12 hours or something just to get people's reactions. Or I'll put it in my broadcast channel, or I'll just wear it on stories, and if people ask where it's from. But
noted.
Yeah. Everything has already appeared somewhere because not everyone sees your content all the time, you know, and it's like confirmation for me that this is what people want, which is just really important. I don't want to bring out something that it's like, dead air.
And has there ever been a time where you have felt a bit resentful of the business side of things, like it was almost getting in the way of your creativity? So you mentioned before about, if I sell one more thing, I'm going to have to pack one more thing. Or, I just wish I could just sit down and design all day, but I've got to do this cash flow spreadsheet. Have you ever felt resentful?
A little bit. I'm not very good. I do not enjoy doing things to do with numbers and accounting and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I resent it. It's just part of getting to have what I want.
Yeah.
You know?
And I want nice things.
And I want, yeah.
And be able to order loads of the nice things, but in order to know how many you can get, it's looking at the numbers.
Yeah. Oh, I quite enjoyed that bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And how has forward planning the business and having more structure changed the way that you work?
I feel like I am much more efficient in forward planning. I'm not great at forward planning, but Kyla, for example, is great at it, and she will manage our calendar so we know when we've got launches coming up. And it does actually really help.
Annoyingly.
Everyone's right.
Because one of the things you said when we started working together again is that you did a big launch and it was great, and then there was sort of a bit of a lull.
Yes.
And then there was another launch and then a lull, and what we wanted to get to was having these consistent launches where one was kind of falling off the back of the other. And I think you've been very good at it. You've got to the place where there's less lulls, more launches.
Yes, definitely. It was kind of like a slow start with the brand, because also I tried a couple of different avenues when it came to manufacturing, and one of them fell through. And I did have a sort of second, like an autumnal launch planned, but it didn't work out with that manufacturer, and that left me with a gap. But now I've got everything sort of rolling a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not having any of those gaps, which is really nice.
And even having approved blocks and doing different colorways, like what you're wearing today that's sold out, and then doing it in another colorway is just going to be so much easier than starting from scratch, drawing it, fitting it, costing it, like negotiating it. That all those things take so much time. But actually, and even you were saying, I've got all of the assets for it now. It's all shot, it's all photographed. If I just repeat it, I can use it all again.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that has helped with launches as well. It is everything goes back to that idea of momentum, is that once you've built that momentum, you can ride off the back of it and then put in a restock where there's like a little gap of a lull, rather than having to design something new every single time.
Yeah.
It's like not being afraid to go again.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like in that way, the first year has been really like me data collecting about the brand, what sells, what are our core items, what should I be thinking about always having. And in that way, it's really fun.
What data have you gathered other than the fact people like shirt and trousers?
Fuchsia Shaw is a shirt and trouser brand.
Yeah, that's basically it, isn't it?
Which is great.
Yeah.
And I see why,
I know, they're great shirts and trousers.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to find that like smart casual tailoring. I even looked up yesterday when I was looking for some inspo, like fashion business tips, and I was like, what are people putting out? And there wasn't anything for me. It was all things that would probably be really good for you. It's like tips on how to dress fashionably for business. Yeah, and there was like thousands of videos that are like have all gone viral because everyone wants to look cool at work but doesn't know how.
I suppose because we spend so much time at work.
Yeah.
So you want to look cool at work.
Yeah. And so I think people have really tapped into your brand for that.
Yeah, they have. People have told me they bought this set because their office, they can't wear jeans, but it would be too much to wear a blazer.
Yeah, and they want to look cool.
Yeah.
But also look smart and like tick the dress code.
Yeah.
But kind of like hack the dress code
yeah,
in a
and
way.
have their own personality, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look good whilst doing it.
Yeah.
So a lot of fashion founders feel like they have to choose between being the artist or being the CEO. What would you say from coming back after relaunching the business, if there is somebody listening that's like struggling to find that balance between the two, what would your advice be for them?
I would say that you don't have to wear both hats all the time. You can sort of have one day doing that and one day doing the other, and it makes it more interesting in a way, like spices it up.
Yeah, and then that's such a good idea because you can really like relax into being the creative person without that guilt of being like, I should be looking at this and I should be doing that.
Yeah.
Just be like, I will do it tomorrow.
Yes.
Rather than trying to do all of it all at once.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And we obviously have to mention this field set that you're wearing. And seeing you smash it using this like launch checklist that we've been doing behind the scenes. And it was such a proud moment seeing it sell out from the outside, knowing all of the work that you've put in behind the scenes. What do you think made that launch so successful?
I put out a lot of content.
Yes.
a lot of content. But I was really excited about it. And I do feel like that came across in the amount of content that I put out.
Yeah.
And because I was so excited about it, I was like, I'll do this and then this and pictures. And I think it probably did stem from a place where I loved the design and I wanted to talk about it. And it was getting that kind of like that feedback of
everyone else loved it.
Everyone else loved it. Messages saying, what time's it launching? You can really tell when people are really excited, and I feel like that spurred me on.
I think that's such a good point as well, to make sure that you're riding off the back of people's comments and being your own hype woman. Because say you're receiving all of these DMs, nobody else watching from the outside knows that everyone else is feeling that way. And so screenshotting them, resharing them and saying to people, look what everyone else is saying about this thing. And then it gets more other people excited about it as well. Because there's a phrase that says people don't want what they need, they want what other people want. And so if you can show that lots of other people are wanting this thing, you know, like we've been working on the wait list and saying, oh no, there's 60 people on, you know, or 60 people that will be able to have it, but there's 600 people on the list. You know, that is going to make somebody like sit up and pay attention to what you're saying. And that is very much people.
We're like nosy. Want. I feel like a lot of content is like, we love hearing what other, like, I know what you think about the piece, but like, what does your mum think about it? You know, putting out content of like text messages and DMs and like filming, like you've happened to be recording, you're having that, like you catch a conversation. I feel like lots of content like that does really well at the moment because we want honest like reactions.
Yes, definitely.
And sharing that is like quite powerful.
And another thing you mentioned recently was sharing about the product but 2 steps removed.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Because you've noticed that sort of content does well. So for anyone listening, what do you mean by sharing about the product but 2 steps removed?
Yeah, because people will read into everything that they see on the screen when they're consuming the content. And for example, like that video of me in the dress with my birthday flowers. The video was about my birthday flowers, but obviously I hoped that people would like the dress. And that was kind of 2 steps removed because it's something, I'm sharing something personal. It was my birthday. I'm sharing that my husband got me the flowers, that, you know, they're a beautiful like bouquet from like a floral artist that I love. So that's all other information, but which is 2 steps removed from me wearing this dress.
Yes.
Yeah.
And things like, hi, I'm getting ready for my photo shoot.
Yes, exactly.
And it's like, oh, what photo shoot?
Yeah. Or like pack with me for my photo shoot, or, you know, things like that. And I want to take that really useful gadget that I want to know about that gadget that you're taking on your photo shoot. But I've now learned that you are having a photo shoot. Yeah,
it's very clever because you're just circling around it.
Yeah, because people don't like being direct sold to.
But also sometimes they need it. So
yeah, well, I think that's the second level that they will then go on. If they liked that, they might then watch the video where you're literally talking about your product.
Yeah, like because I know you did one before with the brown suit that was like, here's all the reasons why this brown suit is amazing.
Yeah,
and that did really well.
Yeah, and it had a much longer longevity online than lots of other content, because people, when they're actually going to purchase, they need that information.
Yes, yeah, and so they'll really watch that whole thing and then join the mailing list maybe, and you're taking them on a journey, aren't you? Yeah,
exactly. And answering those questions are really important in the lead up to launch. People want to know the sizing, the postage, all that kind of, what's it going to look like on them, the inseam on the trouser. All that will really, really help people actually purchase when they feel like they're getting the right size. It can really stop you in your tracks.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what size I am. I'm bored. I've clicked off.
Yeah, yeah. What was it that you said? They used to say, like, the number one thing that you get asked is, how tall are you?
Yeah.
It's like so random. You would never think that that's the thing that you get asked the most.
Yeah.
And I remember then putting your name into Google, because I was trying to find something that we had done together before. It was that YouTube video years ago. And then it put Amy Fuchsia, and it was like, how tall is she? And it came up as one of the Google suggestions. I was like, oh, wow, yeah, like it really is on there.
I'm 5'6", by the way.
P.S. And on launching then, so this is a question from Hannah and Rebecca. When it comes to launching a new collection, how do you approach it step by step? Have you got like a bit of a formula now in what you do before you launch something?
Yeah, so probably before I put it into production, it will be sneakily somewhere online, and I would have got people's reactions, or I've got confirmation from outside sources that I should definitely make this.
Yes,
that's step one. And then before the launch, probably about a week before it's going to launch, week to 10 days, depending on like how many products or how much content you've got, I will then start talking about it. And it's really exciting because it's sharing something new, and but you probably feel like you're talking about it way too much.
Yes.
But you've got to talk about it way too much and then add on and then double it.
Yeah. You were going to say like add 20%. You're like actually just twice more. Yeah. With that build up, what would you say are some tips or hacks that you do to kind of create that buzz around what it is that you're launching? You mentioned like the text messages and like sharing the DMs. Is there, because when you look at selling online and you Google it, it's like find the problem, then find the solution. And with clothing, it's not necessarily you just want it.
Yeah. You do.
So you're kind of selling the desire rather than the product, and like building that buzz around it. Have you got any advice on how to do that?
I would say that I love good visuals. Like I love really nice styling, settings, all that kind of thing. I feel like that really adds to like wanting it for me. Like I love it looking incredible on a model. I mean, it's so simple, but like that is number one. I need that.
It is like an intangible thing to create that desire, and maybe it is literally just going back to mixing really gorgeous aesthetics with having fewer pieces than there are available for all the people who want them, and like merging those two things together. But I remember one thing when I was like having another crisis about content years ago, and I was like, what, come on, like just tell me one thing, and you said it has to be eye-catching, and I was like, oh, is that it? Like
yeah, that's true.
But it stuck with me all the time. There is so much content that is going, and sometimes you're scrolling without even looking at your screen. Like your finger is still moving, and whilst talking to your mum or whoever. And actually, it really has got to catch somebody's eye within the first few seconds, at least. Filming this in 2025, this is the world that we are living in. It has to have a good hook. It has to catch somebody's eye. It's got to look nice. And you've got to hold somebody's attention for longer than 3 seconds. And it's quite literally got to be eye-catching.
Yeah. When I meet up with other content creators to shoot outfits and things, we will try somewhere and we're like, nope, it's not good enough. It doesn't pop. Yeah, it just doesn't pop. Like the lighting's not right, the background's not working, and we would just walk around and try somewhere else and until we get it right, to be honest, because it's got to be that piece of content that like pops and has all the right ingredients to it.
And again, you don't see that online. You just see you guys like hanging out, having a giggle, like having a great time. But you're like, there's all this, like you said at the beginning, like artistry behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
It isn't. And for anybody who has tried filming a get ready with me video at home or whatever, it's not as easy as it looks.
No.
There is all sorts of things that go on behind the scenes to make it look as good as it does online.
Yeah, exactly. It's about practicing and just having that eye for it, where it goes, where you do get that one photo where you're like, oh, that's it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
And your next big focus then with the brand is to be a bit bigger, a bit braver. We've been doing it for about a year now, and you've built such a wide, engaged audience. How are you feeling about stepping into that bigger space and being a bit bolder with the amount that you buy? And
yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the brand in general right now.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's so fun, and I'm looking forward to getting a bit bigger. But I don't want to like take crazy risks or do weird things. Like I don't want to suddenly go, okay, I'm quadrupling the stock. I'm being really cautious about it. I definitely want the brand to grow, but I don't want any big hiccups.
Yeah, again. Yeah. Or like to the detriment of your mental health or
Exactly.
the business itself and
Yeah.
the structure behind the scenes. And
Yeah.
just taking it easy.
Protecting my peace.
Yes. And so then, besides getting a bit bigger as it grows and buying a little bit more so things don't sell out in one evening, what's your biggest dream for the brand in the next year or two?
Just like being creatively fulfilled, like
Yeah.
having beautiful clothes. I'd love to do something in real life. I'd love to have like a pop-up shop and to do more events and things like that, and to just have consistency and just feel in a really good place about the brand would be fabulous. I almost would love to have a shop,
Yeah.
like a permanent shop.
She said it now.
Yeah.
It's out in the universe. Where would the shop be?
Where would
Let's
the shop
manifest
be?
it properly.
Oh, I don't know. Like Covent Garden way, I suppose.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it there with all the flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideal. Perfect.
Okay, so quick fire then. What 3 words would you use to describe Fuchsia Shaw now?
Creative, confident, and evolving.
Love it.
Yeah.
And who is your dream celebrity customer?
I find this really hard because I love their stylists. So there are some celebrity stylists I would love to like know about the brand.
Go on then.
There's one called Coco Schiffer. I think actually she dresses like people like Jess Hunt and stuff like that, and I love her. She's been looking great recently.
Yeah.
And Danny Michelle, maybe she does. Actually, like a celebrity I'd love is like Hailey Bieber, something like that, or the Gigi, the Hadids.
Yes.
Yeah, one of them. That'd be lovely.
Okay. Anyone, if you're listening,
Yeah.
get in touch.
Yeah.
And what is your favourite part of the design process itself?
Receiving the finished sample and trying it on.
Yes. And it's not in like a luminous
Yeah.
orange patched work with some brown lace,
Yeah.
and
It's like
looks
amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so fun. I've had that like many times this year, which has been really nice.
Oh, yeah. You've had a really good hit rate actually with samples
Yeah.
coming back looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously it's down to great design initially. So, well, thank you. It's been such a privilege to watch your brand grow and evolve, and designing all these gorgeous collections and becoming like a really strategic and thoughtful brand leader. So well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
also staying true to like the brand's spirit, because it is not easy growing a business creatively and strategically at the same time. But
Yes.
I think the fact that you mentioned you are doing it slowly and considerately is the way to do it. And if you want to follow along with everything that Amy is building, you will find her at Amy Fuchsia and Fuchsia Shaw on Instagram. And obviously, I'll pop the links in the show notes for you. And if you're enjoying the podcast, it would mean the world if you could subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend who might need a little inspiration right now. You can also join me over on Instagram in the Fashion Brand Clinic broadcast channel, where we do Thursday therapy Q&As and share behind the scenes extras every week. Thanks so much for listening. Or if you're watching on YouTube, I will see you next week. And in the meantime, leave a comment and can't wait to stay in touch. Fashion founders, let's talk about something your brand can't exist without. Words. You already know your designs are incredible and your vision is clear, but something is missing. If you're feeling invisible in the fashion world, struggling to sound consistent across platforms, or feeling fed up not knowing what to say in your marketing, then you need the Visionary, the ultimate brand voice masterclass by Studio C. Led by Studio C founder Charlotte Ferris, this on-demand masterclass harnesses a decade of experience to guide you through all things brand voice so you can shape your signature sound and transform casual followers into loyal customers. What you say and how you say it is infinitely powerful. Mastering your brand voice isn't just about writing better, it's about building a voice that's unmistakably yours. One that speaks authentically and connects you endlessly to your dream customers. I know firsthand how fundamental finding your brand voice is, which is why I worked with Studio C to write the copy for my website back when I first became a fashion brand consultant. So if you're ready to make your fashion brand stand out, head to studioc.uk today to join the Visionary, the ultimate brand voice masterclass, and get ready for your brand to break through the noise.